just as at Germany 2 weeks ago for the Nürburgring European Grand Prix, Niki Lauda has qualified badly, but he was fastest in the warm-up this morning, and his teammate Alain Prost was second fastest. This race over 70 laps, which is a distance of 185.3 miles. Perfect conditions. And Senna gets between Piquet and Prost. Keke Rosberg comes out from this corner, half through. Keke Rosberg, who put up an absolutely meteoric qualifying lap in the last 60 seconds of practice yesterday to qualify in 4th place from 27th, leads the Portuguese Grand Prix in his Williams Honda, which is handling better, he says, than it has in recent races, and Nigel Mansell is in second place. Alain Prost is third. So Nelson Piquet is behind the Frenchman, and at the end of this lap we will see where Niki Lauda is in comparison with his 11th place start. But what a wonderful start for Keke Rosberg. And Niki Lauda not going well. On the half lap, he was in 13th position.
Yes, Lauda took a very conservative start, didn't want to get involved in the fighting, because obviously it's essential that he gets a finish and is in a position to score some points. Fabulous start by Rosberg, who's really going for it. He's stretched out a little bit of clear air already. Mansell came bursting through, and it was quite a good scrum at the first corner. And a spin there.
And it's still Rosberg. We will have to ident as the spin goes through. It's still Mansell second. It's still Prost third. In 4th position is Ayrton Senna. In 5th place is Michele Alboreto. In 6th place it is De Angelis. And it looked like Nelson Piquet that spun. And Nelson Piquet has not gone past us. So it appears, the world champion who spun on the first lap, and that will have destroyed his chances of doing well in the Portuguese Grand Prix, the story of which, as you can see, with the Williams handling pretty wildly on the corners, but Keke Rosberg there, and Nigel Mansell looked as though he's starting to close.
And Mansell ran wide there, coming out of that tight corner, and Alain Prost took advantage and dipped through. Just did that twist deflection before, had a fabulous shot of Keke Rosberg, really sliding the Williams around, throwing the back of the car out, getting it sideways. And Rosberg has really come from nowhere at this meeting. He had a terrible time in practice and hadn't even qualified to it until the last couple of minutes of practice yesterday, when he got out and put in a storming lap and made that fabulous start. He looks to be quite comfortable out there in front. Now, of course, we're going to see what Prost can do about it. Can Prost close up now that he's got a clear track in front of him?
There is one of the Ram Hart cars out. It looked like that of Philippe Alliot, and indeed it was. So Alliot retired. Nelson Piquet has spun. The race leader is still Keke Rosberg. We are on lap 3 in this 70-lap race, and you can see now that Prost is indeed shaping to close up on the gearbox of Keke Rosberg's car as they go into turn 1, which is a falling downhill right-hander, which they take at some 150 plus miles an hour. Now into turn 2, that's the third gear, 125 miles an hour bend. Round turn 3, and they start to climb at about 100 miles an hour, and it's still Rosberg, Prost with Nigel Mansell holding a watching brief in third position. It is still Senna 4th, Alboreto 5th, De Angelis 6th, Derek Warwick is 7th, Torbay is 8th, Johansson is 9th, and right behind them is Niki Lauda in 10th position. The crowd rises in front of me. Did you see why, James?
Yes, Lauda was just making up the place past Tambay then, and in fact, Johansson already got past Tambay and is moving ahead quite well. So Johansson's going to be a difficult one for Niki to pass when he gets there.
Yes, but look at this. These three going magnificently. These three being Rosberg, the leader, Prost in second place, and driving in his last race for the John Player Special Team Lotus team, Nigel Mansell, who has yet to win a Grand Prix, is in very good form. I was talking to him just before the race began. He feels fit, he feels ready for it, and he really is going for a victory. And the way he has closed up on Prost and Rosberg means he could do it. An interesting situation here, because I think that if Prost could get past Rosberg, he could pull away from him. The problem, as James has said, is that Honda engine has got a lot of power. It's quicker on the straights, and that has given the chance for Nigel Mansell to close up, and you're looking at the battle for third on lap 8.
Yes, you see Prost getting the toe, and he's having a look down the inside. It's very dusty, the circuit down the inside, and he saw, well, he was really having a try, but Rosberg is definitely not going to make it easy for him to pass. He's very anxious for a win himself. He's had a pretty terrible season, apart from his wonderful drive in Dallas. So Rosberg, it's funny, most of these guys aren't chasing points for any reason, but of course everybody wants to finish the season on a high note. Lauda will be very happy to see that Rosberg is at the moment at least halting Prost's progress, which he probably will be able to see because this track turns all over the place, and you can see other bits of the track as you go, because there are a lot of sort of 180-degree corners. And now Prost having another look, but and this time he's got a good draft, and I think he's inside him. Yes, and Alain Prost takes the lead, and I'm sure he's going to pull away now. Nigel Mansell still keeping good order in third place, and here we see it again, and Prost got his car placed absolutely right, coming onto the straight, got a good toe, but still had to fight Rosberg under braking. Now you see the car's twitching a bit on the heavy braking, but Prost safely through, and that'll be a big sigh of relief for him.
And that is Mark Surer going out of the race with a 3.5 points disadvantage. Alain Prost is nevertheless completely relaxed. I talked to him recently, and he was very, very cheerful and very optimistic. And Mansell now is going for that second place. He's right up alongside Rosberg, who puts his foot down, and Mansell now is well, how about that, James?
Well, I thought that Mansell was taking a pretty big risk then. He wasn't really inside Rosberg properly, and you see Rosberg shuts on, and Mansell's right up the curb, and they were very lucky not to make contact. And I would have said that Mansell was overstretching the mark there. It was still Rosberg's corner.
The interesting thing here, this scrap between Rosberg and Mansell, is that they're going to be teammates in the Williams Honda team next year, 1985. And Keke Rosberg has made it very clear that he doesn't actually want to drive with Nigel Mansell in the team. Now, how he will react to this forceful thrusting he's getting from Mansell, entirely justifiably, I should say, is difficult to judge. That was Jonathan Palmer, and now, on lap 10, it is Prost leading, Rosberg second, there he is, Mansell third, there he is, Ayrton Senna is still in fourth place, 7 seconds behind Mansell, who is third. Fifth is Alboreto, and up into sixth position has gone Derek Warwick, and at the present moment Alain Prost in the lead and on his way to 9 points has more than made up that deficit between himself and Niki Lauda, and Mansell's going for it again, and this time surely he's going to get through because Rosberg's had to move over, and yes, up into second place on lap 12 goes Nigel Mansell. Now, is he going to pull away from Keke Rosberg? Look at it again.
Yeah, same thing. That Williams is very fast on the straight, but Mansell that time got his toe just right, got properly ahead of him in the braking area and won the corner.
Somebody has gone off the circuit. It's Philippe Streff, the Frenchman who is driving the third Renault. Now, look at this. 7th, 8th and 9th. De Angelis, Johansson and Lauda. Ahead of De Angelis in 6th position, and the last one in the points, Michele Alboreto. There is the Italian, and look at this. And the man who spun off across the course in the Renault was not Philippe Streff, it was Derek Warwick. So Warwick has gone plunging down into about 11th position. And now, as you look at Niki Lauda trying to get up ahead and into the points and to preserve his chance of getting the World Championship, there he is. It is Alain Prost leading Nigel Mansell by 9 seconds. Mansell 4 seconds ahead of Rosberg, third. Ayrton Senna 3 seconds in fourth place behind Rosberg. Fifth is Alboreto. Sixth is De Angelis. Seventh, eighth and ninth, Johansson, Lauda and Torbeck.
And I just noticed around the back of the circuit that I think Stefan Johansson has got past Elio De Angelis, and so Niki now has a new challenge. He has got De Angelis to have a go at, and he may or may not find that easier. He still, of course, is going to have to pass Johansson sometime. And Niki Lauda has passed Elio De Angelis. He was in the process of passing him as he came past our grandstand here, and so Lauda has moved up into 7th place, I think. That makes him. And he's now got a little bit of air before he's got to he's chasing after Stefan Johansson once again.
And you must have seen that now in third position it's Ayrton Senna, and the queue being led by Keke Rosberg is with Rosberg in fourth position, Alboreto fifth, Johansson sixth and Lauda seventh, and there are the sixth and seventh men, Stefan Johansson in the Tolman and Niki Lauda as Senna. That's Jonathan Palmer's car in the pit. And you see there Niki Lauda passing Johansson, and the race order now on lap 28 is still Prost leading Mansell, who's again charging and has got the gap down to under 7 seconds. Second place. Senna is third. Alboreto is fourth, and now Alboreto he's going to be taken by Lauda, and Lauda had taken Johansson, and with one move, or rather two very rapid moves, Niki Lauda is now up, watch him again, taking Michele Alboreto in the Ferrari, and Niki Lauda, by passing Johansson and Alboreto, is up into 5th place. And there is Derek Warwick. Yes, Derek Warwick out. It looks like another grisly race for Renault. Well, I can tell you that Stefan Johansson is in the pits. And it looks to me, with the nose off the car as we're looking at it, and you see Alain Prost go through, as though the Tolman of Stefan Johansson is definitely in race retiring trouble. As you look at the second place man, Nigel Mansell. Now, we haven't seen Mansell for a long time. Senna is still in third position. There's the Ligier of Andrea de Cesaris, and we are on lap 31 now. As Lauda goes past the Williams, and he is definitely in fourth position. So now, on lap 31, Keke Rosberg has been pushed down by Niki Lauda. There's the replay of the Finn who led the Portuguese Grand Prix in the opening stages for the first 8 laps. You can see how hard Lauda is trying on lap 32, and the championship gap is now only 1.5 points between this man in fourth position, Niki Lauda, and Alain Prost, the race leader. Because if Alain Prost won this race, he would get 71.5 points. Lauda is currently in fourth position on 70 points. And if he gets up another place, it's going to be almost even Steven, and he's now up with, that looks like Manfred Winkelhock as opposed to Nelson Piquet. It was. And since I haven't mentioned Winkelhock before, I should tell you that Teo Fabi had to sadly return to Italy due to the death of his father, as a result of which Manfred Winkelhock was most dramatically brought into the Brabham team. There is Senna, who is third, and he has now Niki Lauda right behind him in fourth position. And if Niki Lauda can get up, there's Lauda trying, and Senna holding him off in the new distinctively liveried Tolman. Ayrton Senna, who finished second at Monaco in his first season of Grand Prix racing, now engaged in a wheel-to-wheel almost battle with Niki Lauda for third position. So the British, built and powered Coleman Hart with its 4-cylinder engine against Niki Lauda, and he's going through, is he? No, as they go into that long looping turn 6, Senna holds him off.
Well, he certainly had a good long look. He really tried to get inside, but Senna managed to stay light on his brake pedal for long enough. But I think if Niki can get into the right position as they come off the main straight, that's where he's going to do it with an outbrake at the end of the straight.
Francois Hainaut in the Ligier out of the Portuguese Grand Prix, and up at the front the battle continues. This battle between Senna on the right in the Coleman, Lauda on the left, and they're battling for third position. Still Prost first and Lauda, Mansell second, and Lauda is going through this time, surely. He's got the line, and yes indeed, as they go into turn 1 at the end of lap 33, Lauda is up into third place, only Mansell between him and his teammate Prost.
And in fact, Lauda was way quicker than Senna through that corner. He left enough air between them before the corner so that he didn't have to lift coming through it, and he really just swept past him on the straight as we saw then. So, battle is really joined now. Niki Lauda up into third place, but he's some 36 seconds behind Nigel Mansell, so he's got a long chase. So that's one of the Williamses parked there beside the track. I can't see whose it is from this angle. There's no driver to identify. He's gone. Was off on his way home. That was Rosberg's car that we saw parked beside the track then. Niki Lauda has in fact made quite a bit of progress on Mansell. He's now under 30 seconds behind him, but I still don't think it's going to be enough. So it's really a question of keeping the pressure on and hoping that Mansell keeps going absolutely flat out, chasing Prost, either with a view to passing him, but that's now getting a bit difficult because Mansell, with the aid of the traffic, has dropped back quite a lot on Prost now and is really losing touch. So what Niki doesn't want to happen is, of course, for Mansell to ease up and come back towards him gently, and thereby conserving fuel for a final sprint late in the race.
Lauda now coming up behind the Ligier of, it looks like, Andrea de Cesare. It's very difficult to tell him and Hainaut apart. And Michele Alboreto is still ahead of Elio De Angelis, 5th and 6th, with Patrick Tambay 7th.
Lauda's got terrible traffic problems, and the trouble is they're all fighting amongst themselves as well at the same time, which is making it very awkward for him. He just desperately needs to get clear of all that traffic. Yes, unfortunately that gaggle of back markers has cost Niki a good 5 seconds on the road. He's dropped back his positions relative to Prost and Mansell by some 5 seconds roughly, at a time when he really didn't need that. It was crucial that things are moving the other way. So things are looking now as if Niki's going to have to depend on fate rather than anything he can do. I don't think he can reasonably expect to catch Nigel Mansell, and it doesn't look as if Nigel Mansell is going to catch Alain Prost. So it's a question of whether the very hard race that Mansell has put in has taken too much of petrol out of his Lotus or rubber off its tires or whatever.
You can see from the caption that the gap between Mansell and Lauda is 30 seconds to the nearest full second, with Senna still 4th, Alboreto still 5th but lapped, De Angelis still 6th, Tambay 7th, Patrese 8th, Winkelhock 9th, Piquet now in 10th position, 1 lap behind but running well, De Cesaris in 11th position, and Arnoux is in 12th position. Then Derek Warwick disappeared from the lap charts altogether. There's something exciting happening because the crowd is going berserk in front of me, and I'm sorry to say I cannot tell you what it is. James?
I think Mansell's in trouble, and I think Lauda might have passed him. I can't see it. I saw Lotus go off the circuit and go straight on down at the hairpin there. Now, which Lotus is that? Well, we'll wait and see when they come round.
Yes, let's not guess at it. It's absolutely critical, because if it was Mansell, it means that Lauda's in second place, and he is. He is. Niki Lauda on lap 53 out of 70 has moved up into second position, and in doing so has taken the lead in the World Championship. He has to keep running.
Well, I don't know what happened there, because Lauda had come round on Mansell's tail, so I think Mansell must have had a spin, got going again, and there is Mansell cruising round, and he then went straight on at another corner, so something must have gone a bit awry with his car, I would imagine. However, a major turn up, and there is Alan Prost, and what a terrible blow that must be for him, because as things stand now, Niki Lauda is going to be world champion for the third time, and I think Prost will, I mean, really the fairest result would be a shared championship, but that doesn't happen, of course. And there goes Nigel Mansell limping in. He's got blood in his towels, and we'll have a look, see what they do to the car when he comes in, because I think he must have already had one spin, because Lauda had been on his tail as they went past round the back of the circuit. He then overtook him, and after that, Mansell it was who went straight on at the downhill hairpin. So, a sorry and sad end for Nigel.
Lauda now in second position behind Alain Prost, and since that means that Prost is on 9 points, Lauda is on 6 points, it means to say that Lauda, who started this race 3.5 points ahead of Alain Prost, is on his way to his third World Championship in his 157th Grand Prix, a quite incredible achievement. That it's terribly difficult to tell whether, I was going to say whether it was Streff or Warwick. The caption told it was Warwick, and judging from the distinctive way that he was walking away, it was indeed Derek Warwick.
Well, it must be bitterly disappointing for Alan Prost. He's done everything he could today, on the day, and he's out there winning the race, and things have worked out behind him in such a way that as of this moment, Lauda, if they both hold position, of course is going to win the championship. But I think, if anything, he'll be regretting one or two errors he's made early in the year, particularly in Dallas, and of course again in Austria.
Over the line then goes Alain Prost, and that is to complete another, that is his 69th lap. So Alain Prost is on his way now, on his last lap, to win his 7th Grand Prix of 1984, but despite that, to lose the World Championship, to lose it to the most worthy adversary that you can possibly imagine, Niki Lauda, although in the process, two other, at least notably quick, very determined and enormously successful drivers in Nelson Piquet and Keke Rosberg have lost their championship chances, and Rosberg was the champion in 82, Piquet in 83, because of machinery problems rather than driver problems. The top four drivers are undoubtedly Piquet, Rosberg, Prost and Lauda, and this year, thanks to the superb package that Ron Dennis, John Barnard and everybody else in the McLaren team have put together for their two men, the two McLaren drivers are going to have finished first and second in the championship, have won 12 out of 16 of the races, have won the Constructors' Championship by a record margin. Alain Prost within sight very shortly as he goes into the last series of bends and now into the last right-hander to cross the line and take the checkered flag to win in Portugal, but ironically and very, very sadly from his point of view, provided Niki Lauda appears in the next 15 seconds or so, and there he is. There is the world champion of 1984. So, victory at the Portuguese Grand Prix, Alain Prost, 7 times a winner. Second, Niki Lauda. Third, Ayrton Senna. Fourth, Michele Alboreto. 5th, Elio De Angelis. 6th, Nelson Piquet. But, of course, the season belongs to one team, McLaren, and now to one driver, Niki Lauda, the 1984 world champion.
It's now 3 times. Is the 3rd time better than the other 2?
Yes, because it was the most difficult one, because Prost was the best guy I had around me, and he was quick and good all the year through, so it was the most difficult championship I ever won.
We've been talking about Niki Lauda, we've been talking about Alain Prost. I'm sure you would like to talk about the McLaren team.
I tell you, the McLaren team this year was, there's no words for describing it. It was the best team, the best people. The whole thing was fair. They've never done anything for him or for me. So from this point of view, they've done incredible things for motorsport.
What now, Niki? We've got the winter coming up. What are you going to be doing with yourself?
First, we have to test again and try to get ready for next year.
Now, you seem to me to have been leading a different life recently. You've been going away to Ibiza and relaxing. Has that helped you?
Sure, I mean, I've changed a lot of things in life, because I think when you get older, you have to change things, and the way I live in the moment, I like it.
Thank you for being so very patient this afternoon, and everybody's congratulations in England go to you.
Thank you.
Alain, you've won 7 races. Niki's won 5, but he's world champion. Do you feel cheated by the system?
No, I don't think so. I think we had so competitive cars this year, so I don't think I'm not world champion because of the rule, and I'm not world champion because of the circumstances. I was not very lucky sometimes, but Niki made a fantastic season also, and I'm not so disappointed because I won 7 races, and most of the drivers are not very happy when they don't win 1 race per year. I won 16 races all my career, and I'm always competitive every year, and I'm going to try to win championship next year.
So, today, a new world champion. But 7 months ago, the season started badly for the outgoing world champion, Nelson Piquet.
And Nelson Piquet has been left on the grid.
Niki Lauda wins the South African Grand Prix in superb style.
Nigel braked on the inside and then had to brake extra hard because Shura came over, and I locked up, touched wheels with Shura, and the suspension broke and come up through and done my leg.
Well, I was just coming around and Ken said, he's still dazed, he can't even remember how much money I owe him, and I told him how much and when it's due.
There is the problem that I anticipated, a carambolage, and it's Derek Warwick who is involved with it. Big spin for Niki Lauda. And off goes Nigel Mansell. Prost is waving his hand. Prost goes through, waving his hand at the officials. He wants to stop the race, and who can blame him? The Monaco Grand Prix is going to be stopped.
I did make a small error, but that error was about 3 inches on a piece of white on the road, with no grip, and the conditions were so severe that even a good driver cannot get it back. You're just in trouble.
Prost has blown it again.
And this is the moment that transforms the World Championship.
It's nice to win the Austrian Grand Prix in Austria, but it's more important than 9 points, I can tell you.
And he's going for it, he's going to take the lead, and he's through! Niki Lauda leads. And Niki Lauda has made it 5 wins this year.